So the next person that will be coming on stage is Ben. Ben from Meta. Ben will be talking to us about automation of peering. So let's give Ben a round of applause as he comes up.
Hey, so good morning. Excited to be back in Lagos. Great to see everyone here. So as kindly said, I'm Ben. I'm from Meta. I work in our infrastructure team and are looking after Edge in sub-Saharan Africa. So a quick bit of audience participation. Everyone likes that. Put your hand up if you've got an AS number. Just curious to hear who's in the audience. And keep your hand up if you use that AS to peer. Awesome, good selection. So what we're going to be talking about today, you can see it on the slides. We've built some automation to try and streamline peering at Meta. So we're going to talk about what we've built and how you can use it. So I think everyone probably knows this already, but Meta, when we talk about the company, we have a family of products. You can see the logos here. So it's more than just Facebook. We also have Instagram, we also have WhatsApp, and we also have Messenger. And thinking about the problem we're trying to solve here, we're in a lucky position. We've got a very large infrastructure in Lagos, in Nigeria, but also wider Africa and wider worldwide. And so we're connected to lots of internet exchanges. And what that means is, we're in a lucky position that people want to peer with us. And so the problem we're trying to solve here is, we're getting in excess of kind of 500 emails a month. Of that, we're getting, 100 plus peering requests. And, thinking about the size of the problem, we're connected to an excess of 210 internet exchanges globally. And really that leads to 44,000 public BGP sessions. For anyone who configures sessions on routers or routers, if you prefer, that's kind of a lot of config. And so what do we want? We want really a streamlined experience. We want you as an ISP or you as a network who wants to peer with us to have a streamlined experience with us. We're lucky that everyone wants to peer, and we generally like to say yes. So with that creates, obviously more requests. And back to the idea, connected lots of exchanges, and one of our kind of company values is moving fast, and we want our peers to move fast too. So looking at the trend of the problem we're trying to solve, so the blue line here shows emails we receive, and the kind of orange-ish line shows number of valid peering emails. And you can see over time, the trend of emails we get in stays pretty consistent. There's a few peaks and troughs in there, and that's really when we join a new internet exchange, or maybe when there's a change freeze around a holiday, and we see a drop in peering requests. But you can see, this is a problem over a few years that continues. So, what did we do? We automated it. We basically streamlined and built automation so you can self-serve public peering. So, live demos always are an interesting thing, so we've just gone for a few screenshots today. And so what does it look like? So if you go to facebook.com/peering, you get this page load up, and you'll see at the bottom, next action please on the slide. You'll see at the bottom you get a request public peering button. If you click that, you'll be redirected to PeeringDB. Hopefully everyone here has a PeeringDB account. If you don't, you're going to hear about that later. You log in using your PeeringDB credentials. And then you'll just get a quick prompt from PeeringDB, whether you want to authorize the Facebook site to basically take your name and email address, which we use as part of the authentication. And then you're really presented to a page like this. And as a network operator with your AS connected to some internet exchanges, you can see the sessions you have with us, as you can see in this close up here. So if you have existing sessions, you can see the status of those, but also you can request new sessions with us by finding the internet exchange and essentially pushing that request to us by clicking submit. What happens when you then click submit, that goes to an automated queue our side, and we've built automation, a bot which will make recommendations on what someone should do with that peering request, and then someone will action it, and then automation takes off and pushes the configuration directly to the router. No human interaction is needed to push that configuration. We're extending this past public peering. We're also extending this now for private peering, so that's where you have kind of dedicated links to us. And you can see here on the page, very similar layout. the next action on the slide, please. You can see on the left-hand side, you'll get the different data centers we're located in. So if you're looking at Lagos, you'll see the data centers we're located in there. And then on the right-hand side, you can make that request and set the capacity you want. And again, that goes off to a queue for a human to review. So we built this automation. We want people to go to the Facebook site. So what happens if you email our peering@fb.com address now? We have an automatic email parser which looks at the mails we're receiving, identifies public and private peering requests, and will give you a message something like this, telling you to politely, go make the request at the Facebook site, and also reminds you can get our details on PeeringDB. So we've talked about the automation we built. What's the impact of that? So since April 21, the next action on the slide, please. So since April 21, we have we've received 5,958 emails, of which 2,118 automated requests were generated. Of that, we approved 1,986. As I say, we generally like to say yes for peering. And then that's pushed 20,000 plus sessions to our production network of public peering. So huge amounts of time saved for engineers. We did have a few considerations when we built this, however. We wanted a queuing system, so we had a way to manage the inbound requests. Rather than just having automation say yes to everything straight off, which could present its own problems, we want to build a queue. We have a human who reviews that. We have a bot that makes a recommendation, and in the future we'll move to making some of those automatically approved. Another consideration is we rely on PeeringDB. We did that already. If you peer with us already, you would have seen us request a PeeringDB account and a PeeringDB record for your network, and that's because our automation already relies on PeeringDB data. So extending that for this tool doesn't really give us any additional risk. And finally, we've heard you, no Facebook account required for this. That screenshot we showed you earlier, there was no one logged into Facebook for that screenshot. You just literally can go to the facebook.com/peering and use your PeeringDB account to log in and request sessions. So you should do this too. See all your BGP sessions in one place. You can configure new BGP sessions. And of course, everyone has a PeeringDB account, right? PeeringDB OAuth is actually pretty easy to implement, which is what we use here. It took us less than a day. There's code examples on the PeeringDB website you can see to do that. And others are doing this too. PeeringDB in IXP Manager and Peering Manager, we're trying to encourage others to use this as the same kind of centralized authentication. And fundamentally, automation saves time, both for you as a peer wanting to request sessions of us or check the status of those sessions, but also of us, wanting to set up peering and establishing peering review. The other thing we're looking at, we want to try and make some of the work we're doing here an industry standard. So back to using PeeringDB, there's this OAuth tool, and having different operators use PeeringDB as a centralized authentication method. It's a good way of everyone who's a network operator this tool. It's non-profit, it's open source, it's community-led. So it's a really good tool, we believe, to use. Just the next action. Open source tools, so we talked about this already, integrating this with the tools that are out there. So Peering Manager is a really good example of this. You can use that to manage your peering sessions. Obviously, I'm lucky enough I can stand here and we have many software engineers who can help us build this, but there are open source tools out there to let you do that as well. And then Pragmatic API. This is an idea we've got and we're interested in anyone who'd like to talk to us. The idea being that for some peering requests, once you've agreed, actually you can have different software stacks talk to each other and actually agree and configure that peering between them, rather than having humans having to set up every individual session. And so we've only just begun. We've talked about public peering, we've talked about private peering, we've talked about how in the future we want to automate some of those decisions. So rather than when you make that request, a piece of software will just go and automatically approve, meaning there's no delay. And we also want to extend this to our Meta network appliance, formerly known as Facebook network appliance, and that's our in-network appliances. So you can actually request those automatically. And that's coming soon. We have this in development now, and very similar, you'll be able to go to facebook.com/peering and not only request public and private peering, but make and track an M&A request. And you can see just that looks very similar on this screenshot to the screenshots we've shown already. You input details about your network, where you'd look to host an M&A, and then that will go off to someone to approve. So really, love you to test it out. If you've not used it already, please do. Facebook.com/peering. I'm here for the whole week, so you can come and catch me. And at that point, any questions? Thank you.